live session. If you are having anything to discuss, I'm here. We will talk about all those. We will discuss about those. I'm receiving few comments. Vaishnavi mentioning hello, Vaishnavi. Sufia mentioning, do M.Phil is still accepting the application for M.Phil Clinical Psychology? So no, Sufia, they have already closed their application form. Mahmooda mentioning, Mahmooda Parveen, you are here. Welcome in this live. Anisha mentioning, WinPass closed its form long back. Thank you, Anisha, for mentioning. Vigingwala mentioning, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Ankita mentioning, hello, sir. Hello, Ankita. So now here we will discuss at least 10 questions that will help you in different exams. One thing, guys, I would like to mention here in the beginning, every day whenever I'm taking classes and whenever I'm talking to aspirant of clinical psychologist or CUET PG or PsyD or MA in clinical psychology, they're asking one thing, like what they can do if they are reading psychology, what is essential and what is the main thing to do. I always mentioning, you need to be a good learner. You have to focus on to be a good learner, right? Are you a good student? What I mean to mention, we have to focus on psychology. If you are a kind of students who enjoy learning psychology, if you are a kind of a student who are having those keenness, curiosity to learn psychology, when you wake up, then you think चलो कुछ पढ़ लेते हैं, right? Whole day you are just in those mindset to read psychology if you are having time, then definitely you will crack any entrances. I am not saying this kind of attitude must be there for whole life. अगर है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, but at least if we are doing preparation for psychology entrances, then if we are a good learner, that's all. Because you all are here, if you are in this session, live session, or if you are watching this video when I am not live, that means you are keen in psychology. That's why you are watching this video, na? Because on YouTube, on other social media platforms, there are so many things to do. You can see comedy, you can see so many things that you can watch. But if you selected to visit this video, watch this video, that means you are keenness, you have having keenness, you are keen in psychology. So just be a good learner, that's all, nothing else is required. Let's move with the questions. Here you can see I have added 10 questions. The first question I have added, that is, in Hans Eysenck pen model, extraversion is theorized to be biologically associated with the activity level of the, there will be few options, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, option B, ascending reticular activating system, option C, monoamine oxidase system, and option D, dopaminergic mesolimbic pathway. I would like to mention one more point. Here when I will explain all these things, all the questions, in between few questions I will present, but I will not answer them, right? You have to comment, or I will wait what you are mentioning, and in next live I will take those, I will answer them, what will be the right answer. So yes, just look at this question and try to answer which one is the right answer. In Hans Eysenck pen model, extraversion is theorized to be biologically associated with the activity level of the, option A mentioning hypothalamic pituitary adrenal HPA axis, option B ascending reticular activating system, in short ARAS, C monoamine oxidase system, in short we can say MAIO, and D dopaminergic mesolimbic pathway. Ankita mentioning, I have been solving your MCQs. Great, Ankita. If you are having any doubt, any query, I am here, right? Please let me know. Ankita, you are also mentioning, very helpful. Thank you. Seva mentioning, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Seva. Ankita, you are mentioning D. Okay. If any individual want to answer, you can mention your answer in chat box, in comment box. Okay, I am getting few. So correct answer will be B. correct answer will be ascending reticular activating system. Now you have to understand what is ascending reticular activating system. First of all, here you can see reticular activating system. There is a particular name of brain organ, we can say reticular formation. Reticular formation. Reticular formation is here, right? This is the part, right, inside of brain stem. We are finding reticular formation. Whenever reticular formation will be stimulated, activated, if there will be high stimulation, they are having direct connection to different cortical region. They will impact them. So here you can see ascending reticular activating system, and there will be descending reticular activating system. Ascending means when reticular formation impacting, right, different cortical region, we can say that is ARAS, ascending reticular activating system. What I mean to say, the ARAS basically regulates arousal and alertness. So whenever there will be changes in reticular formation, this ARAS regulate arousal and alert. They do certain changes in cortical region, and if cortical region having heightened activities, heightened changes, then there will be arousal, alertness. If there will be lower changes, then there will be calmness. So according to Eysenck, they told us that introvert people having higher baseline level of cortical arousal, higher baseline, that means those individuals who are introvert, who are having higher baseline level of cortical arousal, that means, that simply means they are more easily overstimulated by external stimuli. So whenever they are receiving any kind of stimuli, there will be overstimulation. That's why introvert people always looking for peace, always looking for calm places, always looking for such kind of places where they will not get much stimulation, right? So this is the reason, and when we talk about extrovert people, this particular theory, they are theorizing, Eysenck clearly mentioning that they are having lower level of baseline arousal. So I am just repeating them. When we talking about ascending reticular activating system, Eysenck mentioning those individuals who are having introvert kind of trait, they are having higher baseline level, and those individuals who are extrovert, they are having lower baseline arousal. That's why our correct answer will be ascending reticular activating system, ARAS. So there are two models, ARAS and DARAS, right? If you are keen in this model, if you are developing interest, so you can also look for DARAS, DRAS. This is descending reticular activating system. Next you can see, question is, which theory would best explain why people cry during sad movies even when they know it's fictional, right? What is the reason behind it and who said it? We are having these four options: drive reduction theory, B, common sense theory, C, Cannon-Bard theory, and D, James Lange theory. So we are having these four options: drive reduction theory, common sense theory, Cannon-Bard theory, and James Lange theory. Okay, so hello Rishikesh, you are here. So I hope you are learning from these Q&A session. Here you can see we are having these four options. The correct answer will be D, James Lange theory. Now we have to understand why James Lange theory. So whenever we are moving with James Lange theory, then we got to know that when there will be event, according to James Lange, when there will be event, after event there will be physical stimulation, physical changes, physical stimulation, right? Physical stimulation. And just because of these physical stimulation, we are predicting emotion. We are predicting emotion. We are predicting emotion. So here we are discussing that James Lange theory of emotion, they simply proposing that physiological arousal precede the experience of emotion. So according to this model, whenever we are discussing, and you can see here, right, they are mentioning about the movies. So when we feel sad, we cry. When we feel afraid, just because of trembling, what I mean to mention here, according to this model, when any individual cry, we say, okay, that individual having sadness. When any individual trembling, then we can say, okay, they are afraid. So there will be this series, event, then physical stimulation, and then emotion. So here you can see which theory would best explain why people cry during sad movies. So when they are going for sad movies, when they're watching sad movies, they started crying just because we are using this particular hierarchy. They are watching movie that is sad, so there will be certain physical stimulation, any kind of changes, internal changes like heartbeat or any other changes, right, like respiration, any other external changes sometime, and on the basis of those physical stimuli we are explaining that we are sad. So when we are looking for this statement, all other statement that you see, drive reduction, common sense, Cannon-Bard, these are not so connected and prominent to explain this statement. So correct answer will be James Lange theory. Next you can see, according to self-determination theory, intrinsic motivation is enhanced when three psychological needs are met: autonomy, competence, and third, we have to choose which one is the third. Options are safety, esteem, belongingness, and relatedness. This theory, also known as SDT, right here you can see self-determination theory. And this particular model, when we talk about self-determination theory presented by one of the popular group of psychologists, Deci and Ryan, right? I'm writing their name, Deci, D-E-C-I, Deci and Ryan. They presented this model. And according to this model, as you can see, according to self-determination theory, SDT, intrinsic motivation is enhanced when three psychological needs are met. So if you want to motivate someone, so three things that is needed, three psychological things, if that present over there, individual will be motivated. As you can see, first is autonomy, that is already given. Autonomy simply means the need to feel in control. That means if any individual think what I am doing, that is in my control. I am deciding what I have to do. I am doing what I want to do. So if there is autonomy, then they can motivate individual. Then second is competence. That means need to gain mastery and feel effective in one's activity. Competence means if individual thinks I am capable enough to do this thing, if individual thinks that I am capable to learn and execute this particular activity in very specified manner and in a good sense, we can say that is competence. And third is relatedness. Relatedness simply means relatedness is the need to feel connected to others. So where I am working, in which group I am present, if I am taking membership of any group, if I feel connected to other individual, then I will be motivated to be there, to do that particular task, to continue what I am doing. So according to Deci and Ryan, they've said autonomy, competence, and relatedness is the psychological need that helping individual to motivate. So correct answer will be D, relatedness, right? Yes, Ankita, Rishikesh, Sriva, you are answering. Okay. Hello, Monica. Archana, you are mentioning right. Relatedness is the right answer. Okay. Hello, Minu. Okay, so we can move now. Next. Here you can see, in an experiment, a participant no longer notices the sound of ticking clock after several minutes. This is an example of. Options are habituation, classical conditioning, sensory adaptation, operant learning. Question is, in an experiment, if any individual conducting an experiment, a participant no longer notices the sound of ticking clock after several minutes. This is an example of habituation, classical conditioning, sensory adaptation, and operant learning. You can mention your right answer in comment box. What is the right answer? The correct answer is sensory adaptation. C is the right answer. What is C? What is sensory adaptation? So sensory adaptation simply refers to the decreased sensitivity to any constant or unchanging stimulus over time. Like if I am listening, right here you can see ticking clock, sound of ticking clock, and they are continuous. You are in the room and that ticking sound is there from last so many hours. They are not changing. Their sound is not going up, their sound is not going down. So after certain hours or after certain time, that ticking sound will be unnoticeable to you. We can say that is sensory adaptation. That is sensory adaptation. Sometime in this kind of question, individual will be confused by habituation. Why habituation is not the right answer? Habituation also looks same. So habituation means, habituation is long time process, right? Like here you can see in sensory adaptation, we are discussing about hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours maybe. But when we talk about habituation, that taking long time to make us insensitive for certain information. Like we can take example. If any individual sleeping in fan and fan having sound, they are creating sound, they are not waking up. They are able to sleep comfortably when there is noise of fan. Why this is happening? This is happening just because of habituation, and this habit they haven't built. This habit their brain haven't developed in few hours. They developed in so many months and years. So when any individual present themselves in a certain situation for a longer period of time, so their brain adapt them, right? So we don't call them sensory adaptation, we call them habituation, because this happened in a longer period of time, right? In months to years, right? So what happened? Individuals sleeping and there are noise of fan, they are not waking up. But when they are putting alarm in the same room and their sound, alarm sound, is lower than fan sound, then also individual will wake up in the morning. They will be able to aware कि okay, alarm on हो गया, right? So they will wake up to turn off the alarm. जबकि उसका noise of those alarm clock is lower than fan sound, right? And why happened? Why this happened? Because individual is not habituated for those alarm sound, but individual is habituated for that fan sound. That's why they are not waking when noise of fan is there, but they are waking up when we are placing alarm clock, right? But if any individual being at any place for few extended hours, and if they are not able to notice them after a certain period of time, we can say that is sensory adaptation. So hope it will be clear. If you are having any thing to mention, chat box is open, you can mention there. Okay, next. Which type of research aim to understand underlying cause and relationship without manipulating variables? Now this is little bit of tricky. There is a tricky concept. Now here you can see 2 points specifically. Which type of research aim to understand underlying cause, okay, and relationship without manipulating variables? Now, which one will be the right answer? We are having these options: correlational research, quasi-experimental research, survey research, and action research. Whenever we try to find cause and effect kind of thing, then we are using experimental research. And whenever we are just establishing a relationship between two different things, then we are using correlation. So whenever we are moving with this statement, which type of research aims to understand underlying causes and relationship without manipulating variables? So if any individual having confusion, okay, we are also trying to find cause along with relationship. So maybe that will lead confusion because cause is also given, and when we are reading the cause, our insight sometime mentioning it could be experimental, but here you can see experimental is not given in the options. Option mein hi nahi hai experimental. So whenever we are trying to establish the relationship between two variables, if we want to find a relationship between how these two variables and more than two variables are connected to each other, then we are using correlation. Like if we want to find that what is the relationship between serotonin and depression, so maybe correlation study will be perfect. We can use correlational study. So when we talk about a relationship between two variable, then correlation will be appropriate one. And why experimental will not be there? एक तो यहाँ है नहीं, experimental is not given in the options, so obviously we cannot choose that. But here we can say they are mentioning without manipulating variables. If any individual is confused just because causes word is there, then also they need to understand experimental will not be our right answer, because here they are clearly mentioning without manipulating variables. And in experimental research design, we are focusing on manipulating. Random assignment will be there. Manipulation in independent variable will be there. So that's why, because they are mentioning without manipulating variables, experimental research design will not be the right answer. That's why we will choose correlational research. A will be the right answer. Fine. Next. Here you can see, in an experiment, participants who had to identify whether words were in uppercase remembered fewer words than those who judged word meaning. This support which principle? Option A, short-term memory decay. B, visual encoding failure. C, depth of processing influences recall. And D, recency effect in serial processing. This particular statement simply mentioning, if you are reading something in uppercase, why we are writing in uppercase? Because to get attention. Whenever you are writing anything, any kind of thing like letter or WhatsApp messages, if you are mentioning something in uppercase, that means you are highlighting them. Possibilities are there. So if we are highlighting, that means if we are presenting something in uppercase, why those information we are not recalling, right, in a longer period of time in comparison of, right, those who judge word meaning, right? That means if any individual focusing, right, on these particular point, why they are able to recall after, right, longer period of time in comparison of when we are mentioning something in uppercase. Here I would like to quote one theory, and you all will be aware about those theories. If you are not aware, you can write the name of those theory and you can read after this particular session. The name of that particular theory is Craig and Lockhart. They presented this theory in 1972, and Craig and Lockhart clearly said that we hold and retain information and we are able to recall information not on the basis of what we studied and how much time, how many times we repeated them. We are holding information and recalling information after so long on the basis of level of processing. Level of processing means deeply. If we processing any information deeply, we will be able to recall for so long. We will be able to recall those information after longer period of time. But if we are processing any information at a shallow level, at a basic level, then we will not be able to recall them for so long. So according to Craig and Lockhart, they said there will be shallow processing and depth processing. So whenever we perform shallow processing, we are not recalling them right for a longer period of time in comparison of when we are processing deeply. So according to those theory, we will choose depth of processing influences recall. This will be the right answer, C. Next, after changing his phone number, Rohit finds himself giving out his old number instead of new one. This is an example of option A, retroactive interference, B, proactive interference, C, motivated forgetting, and D, decay theory. The question is, whenever you changing your phone number, and if any individual asking you what is your phone number, you are giving your old phone number instead of new one. Which option will be correct to explain those scenarios? Retroactive, proactive, motivated forgetting, and decay theory. The correct answer will be proactive. Proactive. Correct answer will be proactive. Okay. Correct answer will be proactive. Why I am mentioning correct answer will be proactive? You have to keep one thing in mind. There will be two type of interference. First of all, we have to understand what is interference, right? Then we will understand retro and pro. Interference means when any information impacting recall of other information. That is interference. Like I am having information, one information, and those information impacting any other information to recall, I will say this is interference, and just because of interference, I am not able to recall this information. But now there are two types of interference, retroactive interference and proactive. Retro means old, हमें सिर्फ इसी पे focus करना है, retro means old. So whenever any individual learning any new concept and you are not able to recall old, we can say that is retroactive interference because you are not able to recall older information. So whenever you are learning any new information, like you taken new phone number, and if any individual asking you what was your old phone number, you are not able to recall old phone number, that will be retroactive interference. Right? That means just because of new information we are not able to recall the older one, we can say that is retro. तो इसका opposite होगा pro. So pro means if any individual not able to recall older information or they are able to recall new one, we can say that means you have to focus on retro. So retroactive interference means if any individual is not able to recall the older one, right? So basically here you can see individual mentioning old number instead of new one. So when they are not able to recall older one, that will be retro, and when they are able to recall older one, that will be pro. So here in this case, when Rohit changed their mobile number, if any individual asking to them, they are mentioning old instead of new, we can say that is proactive because older information creating restrictions to learn new number or new information, we can say that is proactive interference. So correct answer will be B. Fine. Next, the mental process of manipulating symbol, rules or concept to arrive at a logical conclusion is called. A mental process of manipulating symbols, rules or concept to arrive at a logical conclusion is called convergent thinking, convergent thinking, deductive thinking, imaginative thinking, non-directive thinking. If you have taken my lecture or my YouTube, right, video, or you have attended, right, this concept previously, so you will be aware about inductive reasoning, deductive reasoning, what is that, what is convergent thinking. So I'm just mentioning their right answer. What is right answer? That is deductive. Now the question is, what is deductive? And when we use deductive, usually what we do. So inductive reasoning or inductive thinking, deductive reasoning, deductive thinking, we are using in our day-to-day life. So whenever we are discussing deductive thinking, sometimes we call them deductive reasoning as well, both are same. So deductive thinking, deductive reasoning is the mental process of logically manipulating symbol. Whenever we are logically manipulating any symbol, any rules or known premises to arrive at a specific logical conclusion, we can say that is deductive thinking. Like we can take example. If I am mentioning A equal to B, right, and I am mentioning B equal to C, then you will conclude by yourself that okay, A equal to C. I am not mentioning A equal to C, I am saying A is equal to B and B is equal to C, but you reach at this particular conclusion that A equal to C, that will be right. So basically, whenever you are going to decide something, whenever you are presenting logical conclusion, whenever you are presenting a specific conclusion, whenever you are using any premises, we can say that will be our deductive thinking. Like we can take example, all humans are mortal. All humans are mortal. Fine. And Vivek is human. All humans are mortal. Vivek is human. So we can say, okay, therefore, Vivek is mortal. What I say? All humans are mortal. And I am saying Vivek is human. So all humans are mortal. Vivek is human. So you are concluding it that, okay, Vivek is mortal. So whenever we are taking this kind of logical conclusion, we can say that is deductive thinking. So here in a statement, they are clearly mentioning the mental process of manipulating symbol, rules or concept to arrive at a logical conclusion. That will be deductive thinking. Fine? Okay. Now, right, next question that I am presenting, you have to mention their answer and I will explain in the next class what is their answer and why that is the answer. So question is, a chess player recalls patterns from previous game to solve a current complex position. This demonstrates the use of option A, trial and error, option B, working backward, option C, analogical problem solving, and option D, algorithmic reasoning. What is the right answer? And mention why that is the right answer, right? So just mention your reasoning, right? Your thought process, why that is the right answer. Let's see what you are mentioning, right? Okay. Now last question I am mentioning here. Here you can see a patient complains of persistent sleepiness despite getting at least 7 hours of sleep nightly. They frequently nap and feel unrefreshed upon waking. Which diagnosis is most likely? Okay, the question is, if any individual sleeping at least for 7 hours in night, then also they feel unrefreshed. When they waking up, they feel sleepy, they are not feeling fresh. So most probably, in which psychological illness we can diagnose that individual? Most probably, right? So we are not having all the things according to diagnostic criteria, but most probably in which disorder individual will be diagnosed. Options are delayed sleep phase disorder, B, hyper somnolence disorder, C, nightmare disorder, and D, insomnia disorder. What is the right answer? Question is, a patient complains of persistent sleepiness despite getting at least 7 hours of sleep nightly. They frequently nap and feel unfreshed upon waking. Which diagnosis is most likely? And you are having these options. The correct answer is hypersomnolence disorder. Here you can see hypersomnolence disorder. Option B will be correct. Why? So we have to understand the basic component of hypersomnolence disorder. In DSM-5 and 5-TR, that is characterized by excessive sleepiness despite sufficient sleep was there in night. So DSM mentioning, whenever they are explaining hypersomnolence disorder, they are clearly mentioning like there will be excessive sleepiness despite they are taking sufficient sleep, typically 7+ hours, and they are mentioning there will be recurrent episode of sleep or lapse into sleep during the day. So if they are working somewhere, so on their desk, they will sleep multiple times, they will fall asleep, they will feel sleepy, they will take nap, there will be difficulties to be awake. So all these problems will be there, right? That will be hypersomnolence disorder, right? So this was the questions. So hope you learned something. Now I would like to see what you are mentioning in comment. So Archana mentioning yes, sir. Then retroactive. You all are mentioning Rishikesh, Anisha, Ankita, SHYLZ, Salj, we can say, Sadaf, Jehra. Okay, you are mentioning. Okay, so Anisha mentioning because in analogy we go back to our previous experience and find similarities between that earlier problem and current problem. Okay, you are mentioning it. Thank you for your comment. Yolo Bolo. Oh, nice name. Okay. Fine. So if you are having any other things to discuss, right, you can mention here. Yes, Archana, got your response. Ashok Singh, yes, got your response. Welcome, Manoj. Okay. Okay, fine. So, hope you learned something new from this live session. Guys, as I already told you in the beginning, to get success, we have to understand that extraordinary individual not getting success. They are getting success, but those people who are getting success, they are not extraordinary. The normal people like you and me, when they are maintaining discipline, when they are being a good student, when they are having keenness to learn, right, they are getting success. So we have to focus on learning, right? We have to focus on being a good student, good learner. We have to focus on maintaining discipline. Whenever we have decided something, right, we have to follow them continuously for weeks, for months, for years according to the goal. Then ultimately we are getting success, we are reaching there where we want to reach, right? So I can understand there are so many distractions around. We are living a kind of era जिससे पहले इतना distractions नहीं था. We are living in an era where you can find there are so many things that are ready to distract us. But if you have any goal, if you decided to reach somewhere, you have to understand that all those distractions giving you pleasure temporarily, that is there for only few minutes to hours, but you are having higher goal, you are having, right, a such kind of goal that is not only help you feel good, help you get so many things, but that will also help other individual in a certain way. So focus on study, focus on learning, focus on determination. You need to be a kind of a student, who are keen in psychology. You are determined to get something. That's all, nothing else is required. So whenever you are getting tips, technique, how to crack, how to get this, how to get those, just keep one thing in mind. We have to follow discipline, and we have to be a good student of psychology. That's all. We will get what we want to get, right? That's all for today. Hope you learned something new. See you in next slide, right? Bye everyone. Bye. Take care. आज पता है क्या दिक्कत हुआ, जो मैंने स्लाइड